Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. We have 5 new Reign of Jafar Enchanteds that have been released that we've got to talk about. We also got some funny stuff on Reddit and some card reveals that happened that were then amended, but then there was a bunch of market activity based on the cards that were released, and just a funny story of patience and not overreacting to any one card. Some good learning lessons here. Have I complained about having to buy a new car lately? Because these Enchanteds from Reign of Jafar, man, they're so good. All right, so funny story on Reddit first. I just got this in my first 4 Lorcana booster packs. Man is happy as a clam. He says he's a Pokemon and One Piece collector. No clue about Lorcana, how it works. Is this good? Is this a chase card? Yeah, buddy, that's a chase card, right? How is someone going to only open 4 packs and get this little guy? Let's go. Got to go full cam to get the Beatrice Blue Doodle on there. How are you going to get this card after 4 packs, man? We've got people who have opened hundreds of packs and never even sniffed it Enchanted. This person pulled 1 out of their first 4, and they pulled the best one, right? So just funny to see people go down this rabbit hole. It's almost certain now that they're going to be chasing. So they tried Lorcana, 4 packs. They pulled a $300 card, okay? Now, no matter what, this person is buying more packs. That is a given, right? I would bet $1 million that this person will now buy more packs of Lorcana. The question then becomes, will they pull their second and third Enchanted in a quick enough time to get them bought in to a totality to where now they won't leave? So they pulled the 1. Are they going to flirt with like 4 or 5 more packs, then give up? Are they going to go for the next 100 packs, get rinse, and then give up, right? The time will tell. We'll see. But this is how a lot of people start in Lorcana. Pull an amazing Enchanted, crazy increase in value. The lottery, you won the lottery, the scratcher ticket hit, and now you're staring at a gorgeous piece of art. I will say it's always interesting for One Piece collectors. Pokemon makes sense. Pokemon and Lorcana can be very. There's a lot of similarities between the characters, the not art style, but just like the IPs in general. A lot of similarities, we'll say. One Piece, a very different lane. Now, I understand that a lot of people in TCGs collect different TCGs, and I have no hate for One Piece. But One Piece specifically is a very unique aesthetic, we'll say. So it's interesting to always see people who collect One Piece and, Pokemon and Lorcana, just because very, very different. But, nevertheless, I'm sure if I liked One Piece, I'd probably like the cards. I've explained many times in my family dynamic, One Piece is not a TCG that will be, opened around here, but I get it for those of you that like it. Before we get to the Enchanted reveals, I got to give Garrick a shout out here at KI Garrick on Twitter. He said he kind of put this on my radar, and it's just tragic what happened. So this Lumier was released. Okay, he's a super rare. He's a 5-drop, 4/3 inkable, shift 3. He's evasive and ward. So we thought. For those of you who don't play the game, once this card is on the board, it's probably going to stay on the board. Is kind of what evasive and ward means. Whenever one of your items is banished, this character gets +1 lore this turn. Obviously, items are very big in the game, and there's certain cards that can banish them, giving this card a preposterous amount of lore. You add that in something in combination with something like Lucky Dime, or just this card as a standalone, pair it with some other tech, and this card becomes incredibly OP. Well, we saw that happen. And when that... Oh, no, I closed my tab. I'm a rookie. I apologize. When that happened, when people saw this card, they immediately thought of Royal Tantrum, the Enchanted that plays off of items being banished. So the Enchanted Royal Tantrum then went to the moon. I know I didn't pull it up because Garrick had it, but I pulled up this Lumier, so I didn't. So you could see Royal Tantrum, 2 listings, and it went up to $110. Market price, $44. This card was regularly getting sold for $30 a few weeks ago. Earlier, not even a week ago, 6 days ago, this card, $36, $30, $36, just giving it away. Free 99, you can have it. I don't want this Royal Tantrum. The card is like amazing, like from just a piece of art. The card looks very, very cool. Now, I'm not the biggest Prince John, Robin Hood fan, whatever, but the card itself, it's very, very well designed. I think it would be really cool if it had like a Scrooge in there. Like I said that when it was revealed, like it's kind of the pile of money just when I think of Lorcana and I think of a pile of gold, I want Scrooge in there somewhere, right? So I think if Scrooge was in there, it would be really, really cool. The card, nevertheless, is a very, very awesome card. And so people started making, decisions based on this card being released. Well, it then happened that the ward part of this card was actually not intended to be there. And when the card is released, it will not have ward on it. So I don't know who revealed this card, if it was just a mistake, if it was intentional, I have no clue. But ward is not on the card. The Disney Lorcana team came out and confirmed that. So all the people that went out and got Royal Tantrum, you can see that it was up to 110. Right now it is at 90, right? So it's already came down $20. It's probably on the fast track back down to 30, right? So this is a good example of maybe don't overreact to these card reveals and things like that. Now I would say this is like a 1 in a million of okay, not that, that's drastic, but very unlikely that these cards are going to be released and not actually be the corrected, authentic, real versions of the card. But in this case, it wasn't. And therefore, a lot of people went out and bought Royal Tantrums. It was down to 2. And we are now back up to what, 7, 8 listings there, 9 listings total. So let the price decline begin. But this fun little volatility with these new cards released is always very, very exciting. So nevertheless, patience is key. Don't overreact to any one release. Next up, we have Prince Naveen. I'm not really sure what the tech is on this, but Prince Naveen is starting to see a lot of sales. So you have the full list of 25 here. Just going back to yesterday, we had people buy 4, 2, 6, 4, 2, 2. All sorts of copies sold, probably 40, 50 cards in total. Price is still relatively consistent, so people have came in and undercut. We're still below $5, but the floor definitely did dry up quite a bit on Prince Naveen. We only saw a few Enchanted sales, so not much movement here. We've kind of had 1 to 2 sales for the last week or so, we'll say, but nothing crazy. Still sitting around 77. Lowest on the market is 77. I have one of these cards. I love it. But I'm a Steel Song main, so gotta have a few Enchanted Prince Naveen. I will say there's 2 things that I'm most upset about rotations. One, the Beast never got a viable shift target from Rise of the Floodborn other than Morph Space Goo. I have, until very recently, absolutely, Emerald Steel was the bane of my existence, so I couldn't play it. And that's one of my favorite cards ever in Lorcana. I absolutely love that card. But I never got to play it because it just never had a viable shift target. So that's crime number 1. If I could fix anything in the first 8 sets, give the Beast a reliable shift target outside of Morph Space Goo so everyone can enjoy them. Secondly, the biggest crime, in my opinion, is that this current version of Steel Song, it's going to end in Reign of Jafar, right? And Steel Song, this deck has some of the most potential to bling out your deck or make it look cool with the Cinderella Ballroom Sensation. You guys know how I feel about that card, and it's an absolutely gorgeous card. You have your Rapunzel Gifted with Healing prize wall cards. I wouldn't put the foil top cut cards in my deck, but some of you will. But okay, so absolutely gorgeous, but you could even get the prize wall cards. You have the D23 Cinderella Stout Hearted, amazing cards. You have the Aerial Sonic Warrior Enchanted that you can put in there. You have the Along Came Zeus, very common card for an action. That card looks tremendous in terms of its artistic presence. So there's just so many cards in Steel Song that you can really bling out your deck and make it look really cool, and I selfishly enjoy that. So that's crime number 2. But first, by a wide margin, Beast never got a good shift target. So I'm done rambling. All right, let's get into the Enchanteds now that I've rambled for 9 minutes of who knows what. So why you guys watch, I don't know. But here we go. My favorite. So I will say this card has taken over. Stitch would still be my favorite card to pull, but this card is insane. It Means No Worries has all of the hits from Lion King on it. Timon, Pumbaa, Rafiki's, Azu, Nala, Simba. This card is just, for us 90s kids, man, frameless, put it at the Louvre. Give me a break. This is an awesome card. It's got the lore symbols. The characters look very vibrant. They look very true to themselves. They got the hands kind of holding it all up. They're playing in the little watering hole. Come on, dude. Get out of town. So shout out to Ian. Absolutely gorgeous piece of artwork. I'm very excited to see how this does as a pure collectible. Now, in terms of its mechanics in the game, return up to 3 character cards from your discard to your hand. You pay 2 less for the next character you play this turn. It's a 9 cost uninkable. It's probably not going to see that much play, I would imagine. I could be wrong on that. I don't see this fitting in the current iteration of the game, but I've never claimed to be a pro player that can read the meta. So maybe I'm wrong there, but I'm just interested to see what the price action is on this card. Can the collectability drive it to a decent premium? Because historically, actions and songs that aren't in the meta are some of the cheapest cards that we've seen. Like at something like Royal Tantrum, while it's not a song, you know, a $30 Enchanted, there ain't no way that this baby's that low. And if so, then I'll buy them all. That is that's a piece of art. All right, next up, Wrong Lever. We have this Kronk here, very scared. Looks like he's about to get sent to Narnia. Here in this hole in front of Jafar's chair. Looks like you've got kind of like a sand aesthetic, like Jafar is kind of, you know, making the place vanish or something like that. Is that Yzma reaching out? Stuff all going throughout the card. Different artwork all around it. You've got like another, like kind of the Jafar chair up there. As kind of, it seems like time is, you know, shifting with the sands, if you will. Very, very cool aesthetic there. The Enchanteds for this set, dude, like I said, if I complain about having to buy a new card lately, like these cards are awesome. You have Raya and Namari here on Desperate Plan, fighting for the Hexwell Crown, crowning Jafar as the true villain of all of Lorcana. Fighting over that is what is my take on this. They look very cool. The swords look awesome. Great card. I will say also, like, I'm excited for, like, as we get further down this road of collectors coming into Lorcana, cards will start to get appreciated that are slept on right now. Like, I can't make a bunch of content about, like, the Rise of the Floodborn Namari being, like, a gorgeous card because a lot of people don't necessarily appreciate it as that yet. Now, as rotations happen and as things get phased out and as the pie grows, those cards will become more valuable. People will kind of open their mind to it. But, like, I've never understood why that card is so cheap. Like, that, the Namari from Rise of the Floodborn is an amazing piece of art. The cat, like, the whole card is so cool. But, like, people, it's like a $30, $40 card last I looked. Like, I don't get it. You know, I would never sell it for that price. But nevertheless, the art, they just keep getting better and better. Fantastical and magical. You've got a Mirabelle card here. This card is very unique. Samantha has a very unique take on just the art, and her style is very unique in that sense. Awesome card. My daughter is absolutely going to love this card. I would say this is probably like the least like Jafar kind of aesthetic card, but it's still very, very good. You can see her family in the background and kind of being made up of what I would assume is kind of sand, being circled with the smoke from her candle. Very iconic for the Encanto brand. Very on theme. Absolutely gorgeous card with the butterflies in the background, the candle, Mirabelle, Encanto. You can't beat it. Last but not least, the Sword of Shan Yu, probably the most affordable card, depending on, you know, meta play that we've seen thus far in terms of Enchanteds. It's a 1-cost inkable. You got to tap a character to ready another character of yours. Definitely could see some play, right? That's some interesting tech. I know Red Steel is looking to have a big come up in Reign of Jafar, which I'm very, very excited for as someone who's tried to make a lot of challenge decks work throughout the first, 7 sets. And as much as I tried Ruby Fossa, I could just never make it happen. Maybe this Red Steel angle will be a great way to incorporate tech like this, challenge ready characters, and just make its way into the meta. And then if this card isn't in the meta, then you're looking at like a $30 card. If it is in the meta, then you're looking at maybe a $100 card, right? It just kind of depends. But a 1-cost inkable, this card could very easily be a 4 of if it is in the meta. And so this is a card that could end up being one of the more valuable cards, just simply based on playability. Because if this card is cheap and people can play 4 of them, then they're going to go and buy them, right? And so that kind of keeps the floor for this card at a relatively reasonable rate. So, with that being said, thank you all for watching. Sorry for all the rambling and whatnot. I was excited for the reveals, and then I got carried away talking about other shenanigans. So, friendly reminder, we have the TCGPlayer sale this Friday. So get your cards filled up. Be ready to check out by 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then secondly, I have my eBay auction live on my eBay store, link in the description, for a complete sealed first chapter English bundle. So if you're new to Lorcana, this would be a great way to kind of get in on the sealed side of things. I have to buy a new vehicle, and I am not in the business of taking out a loan to do so. Therefore, I got to sell some product that I have zero desire to sell to go out and get a new vehicle for the fam. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you all. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.